चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Sarvam Rupakata Mahyam Dadati Supadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Prabhu Shri Guru Vaishnava Shri Rupam Sagajam Sagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhantam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshri Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhescha Kripasindu Bheva Chapati Dhanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay. Tasmanandatmajo yamte Narayana samogunaihi Shriya kirtyanubhavena Gopayasva samahitaha. In conclusion, therefore, O Nanda Maharaj, this child of yours is as good as Narayana. In his transcendental qualities, opulence, name, fame and influence, he is exactly like Narayana. You should all raise this child very carefully and cautiously. So, this is Hare Krishna.
I see you are very enthusiastic and fired the brahmachari preacher.
Oh, thank you.
So for benefit of the poor French
Speak slowly.
You could speak a little slowly.
Yeah, I was told. I was already told. Forgive my Indian accent and fast speech. I will try to speak slowly. Alright, thank you. Here Garga Muni concludes his instructions to Nanda Maharaj, and in this verse he reveals to Nanda Maharaj that Krishna is not different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Narayana himself. From this verse we can understand that Nanda Maharaj was a Vaishnava who worshipped Narayana, and he was a devotee of Narayana. He regularly worshipped Krishna, Vishnu in his house, and therefore Garga Muni uses the example of Narayana because Nanda Maharaj always considered himself to be protected by Narayana, and he is very concerned that his child also be protected by Narayana. This is Vedic culture whereby a devotee family has a Kula Devata. A Kula Devata is the family deity. That there are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and Vaishnavas traditionally, actually non-Vaishnavas also, they had what is known as Kula Devata, meaning the family deity. And this family deity is very dear to them because this particular form of the Supreme Lord has protected them and their family for generations. And there is a personal relationship with that deity, with that form of the Lord. And this is very, very important to understand and imbibe as we are spreading Krishna consciousness in the Western world, that as devotees practice Krishna consciousness, it is nice to develop attachment to a particular form of the Lord, in a particular deity of the Lord. And that deity should be considered as one's maintainer and protector. And that feeling is so strong that it is passed through generations. That here is our Lord. That even though Nanda Maharaj may understand that Narayana has many forms, there is a particular form of the Lord that he is worshipping in his house. And he has deep attachment to that form of the Lord. He has a relationship with that form of the Lord. And he communicates that relationship to Krishna. Therefore, one can see that Acharya has revealed pastimes of how Krishna is helping Nanda Maharaj in his worship of Narayana. Because this is culture, this is tradition. And this is very important because from a very young age, children are taught how to develop attachment to a particular form of the Lord and consider that form of the Lord as their protector and maintainer. And so we see that over here. And Garga Muni, recognizing Nanda Maharaj's attachment to Narayana, says that this child is as good as Narayana. Narayana is so pleased with you that he has given a child who is basically not different from him. Now Srila Prabhupada in the purport makes very important points. He said that here the word Narayana Samaha is used, meaning that this child of yours is as good as Narayana. Narayana Samaha means as good as Narayana. Now, why is Srila Prabhupada going on this topic is because in India, especially, there is a very common misconception that any child is equal to Krishna. Or that many times when we go to people's houses and we ask them, okay, you please read Bhagavad Gita, you should learn to worship Krishna. I'm already worshipping Krishna, they reply, I'm already worshipping Krishna by taking care of my child. Taking care of your child does not become directly worship of Krishna. Taking care of your child to make him a devotee of Krishna can be considered worship of Krishna. But just taking care of one's child is done by even the animals. Even the animals are affectionate towards their offspring. There is a saying in the language I come from, the part of the world I come from, Tamil, that even a crow considers its child to be the best. Even the crow considers its offspring to look very beautiful. The crow by nature is not a very beautiful bird, and its offspring, baby crows, are especially ugly looking. They are not nice to look. The crow is as it said, is not a very beautiful looking bird, and a baby crow is even more ugly. But to the mother crow, the baby crow is the most beautiful thing in the world. So this feeling is present even among animals, and just for a human being to care for one's child is not any more spiritual or special than an animal caring for their offspring. And this is a common misconception because, I see it among my own relatives because I come from a Hindu background. How do they celebrate Janmashtami? The way they celebrate Janmashtami is by decorating all the little kids like Krishna. That's nice. That sentiment is good. We do that in our temples also. We may have some drama. We dress some kids up as Krishna or Rama or whatever that may be. That's okay. But that in itself does not complete Krishna Janmashtami celebrations. They consider that as all in all, and that is their worship of Krishna. And literally, they don't even mind doing arati to the small child, and say this is our worship of Krishna. And then they feed all the sweets and everything to the child and think that they have fed Krishna. This is a result of Mayavad. That Mayavadis, when they read this kind of verse by Garga Muni, they think, see, just like Nanda Maharaj's son is equal to Narayana, all children in this world are equal to Narayana. But that is not true. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada is making this purport. It's a very, very important and pertinent point to understand. Srila Prabhupada is quoting this verse, Yastu Narayanam Devam Brahma Rudradi Daivataihi Samatvenaiva Viksheta Sapashandi Bhave Dhruvam. That one who equates Narayana with even great demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma is a Pashandi, an agnostic atheist. Why is he an agnostic atheist? Difference between, does anybody know what is the technical difference between an agnostic and an atheist?
Agnostic is not sure. Atheist is certain.
Agnostic is not sure. Yes.
And the other is rejecting God.
Sorry?
The other rejecting God.
Who, atheist?
Yes.
Yeah, atheist rejects God. Agnostic does not reject God, but agnostic does not accept the proper conception of God either. And to some extent, an agnostic is also a person who just doesn't care. Like, he doesn't care. He doesn't care whether God exists. He doesn't care whether God doesn't exist. And an agnostic is also one who doesn't take the effort to understand who God is. This is very important point. And because and Mayavadis are considered to be in that category because they do not care to properly understand who God Krishna is. They ignore statements like this in Shastra, where it is said that Narayana should not be compared with any other demigods, but yet they compare it with everybody, and they consider themselves also to be God. So this is Pashandi, this is agnostic. And so therefore, Garga Muni Prabhupada is quoting this just to make it clear that Garga Muni is not some agnostic and Nanda Maharaj is not some agnostic. That Nanda Maharaj accepting this verse, Garga Muni stating this verse does not make them agnostics. It is very different because here Krishna is actually Narayana. How is Krishna actually Narayana? What actually makes Krishna Narayana? As it's stated over here, that Gunaihi Shriya Kirtya Anubhavena, that by his qualities, this boy Krishna is going to be equal to Narayana. By his qualities. What are his qualities? Then some of those qualities, Shriya, opulence, is described. Okay. Then Kirtya, fame, name and fame, and Anubhavena, and that's the influence because of these qualities. In this sense, Krishna is equal to Narayana. And what are those qualities of God that we are taught? There are 6 qualities that are mentioned. What are they? Anybody knows?
Most powerful.
Huh?
Most beauty.
Beauty, fame.
Opulence.
So fame and being popular is the same thing. Renunciation, strength, wealth, knowledge. Right? So Shriya Kirtya Anubhavena basically means Gunaihi. Shriya Kirtya means, here he's stating 2. He's stating name, he's stating in terms of opulence and etc. So on. That in these ways Krishna is going to be equal to Narayana, not otherwise. And this is very important to understand because recently also, anyways, there was one Sai Baba in India who died, who had big hair, very popular. He was on a wheelchair and then he died. And now his next incarnation is some 13-year-old, 14-year-old boy who's being worshipped, who's being taken by his devout devotees to Russia and is being worshipped over there by being given sweets and chocolate and all these kind of things. And he's being worshipped. But why do people like this worship just some ordinary boy or some person on a wheelchair? Because they don't understand what are the exalted qualities of God. That here, as Srila Prabhupada describes, when we are saying that he is going to have opulence, Shriya, Prabhupada directly equates that to Shri. Shri meaning, who is Shri? Lakshmi. But Krishna is not, Narayana is served by one Lakshmi. Narayana is served by one Lakshmi. But Krishna, Brahma states, is stated that he is served by Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrama Sevyamana. That he is served by thousands of Lakshmis. And those thousands of Lakshmis are gopis. The gopis of Vrindavan are the goddesses of fortune who are all equal to Lakshmi Devi. That in that sense, Krishna, he exhibits opulence even greater than that of Narayana. So when here, actually, when it is stated that Prabhupada says that Narayana is so pleased with you that he has sent you a son almost equal to him in qualification, doesn't mean that Krishna is lower than Narayana in terms of qualification, like almost equal. Generally, we think almost equal means, okay, somebody is a good runner. He runs very fast. Say somebody, okay, then you say he's almost as good as a runner as him. Means what?
Not quite.
Not just quite. But that's not what he's saying over here. Almost as equal to Narayana means that Krishna is more, therefore Narayana is almost as equal. It flips the whole meaning around actually. It's very interesting. The meaning is flipped. That Narayana is not equal to Krishna, he is almost equal. And how do we know that? Rupa Goswami states that to us, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in his instructions to Rupa Goswami, gives the different forms of the Supreme Lord and explains that Krishna has 4 extra qualifications, 4 extra qualities than Narayana himself. So, anyways, the point is that Krishna is greater than Narayana in terms of the qualities that he exhibits, and in that sense we can understand that Krishna and Narayana are not different. The reason why these agnostics, Mayavadis, they mistaken everyone to be equal to God is because they do not understand the qualities of God. They never understand this. And Srila Prabhupada makes that point. Srila Prabhupada says that everyone, people, they like to imitate Krishna. What do they like to imitate? Krishna danced around with the wives of others. So, let me also dance around with the wives of others. But Prabhupada says that Krishna danced around with the wives of others and he also simultaneously lifted the Govardhan hill. If you cannot lift the Govardhan hill with your pinky, then you are also not qualified to dance with the wives of others. You cannot pick one and choose one. And this is the problem, that the Mayavadis, they pick and choose certain aspects of God, and after picking and choosing those aspects of God, they consider themselves to be equal to God in all respects. Whereas the Vaishnavas, we are considered to properly understand God because we accept Him in full. We accept Him completely. And to accept Him completely means to understand all of His name, fame, quality, pastimes and abode. Therefore, we give importance in our Krishna consciousness movement to chanting the name of Krishna. Then, to understand the qualities of Krishna. There's so many qualities. It's so delineated as a science for us to learn and understand. And then, we also understand the pastimes of the Supreme Lord. There is one book that Srila Prabhupada said, if we read just that one book of his. Prabhupada has written many books like Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Nectar of Devotion, Ishopanishad. But among his books, he said there is one book. If we read that one book, just that one book, again and again and again, we can go back home, back to God. That is the Krishna book. Because the Krishna book contains the name, fame, quality, pastimes, and abode, Vrindavan, of the Supreme Lord. All of the essence of the Krishna conscious philosophy, Srila Prabhupada has so expertly packed into his one book, Krishna book. Of course, that does not mean that we should not read the other books, but it just emphasizes or magnifies the glory of Srila Prabhupada's Krishna book. Such a wonderful book that if we can ever develop a habit of reading Krishna book every night, then we can consider ourselves to be very fortunate, because we can think of Krishna when we go to bed. And that's the best thing to do. Here, Srila Prabhupada therefore makes the point that he, Krishna, would enjoy more than Narayana as Rasa Vihari, the central enjoyer of the Rasa dance. So this is the main point, that Garga Muni is indicating to Nanda Maharaj that here Krishna, who is actually Narayana, is going to exhibit such amazing pastimes that even Narayana does not experience. He is going to exhibit such beauty that even Narayana is attracted to Krishna. Mahavishnu wanted to have darshan of Krishna. That is Mahavishnu himself. He is very beautiful. But even to Mahavishnu, Krishna is beautiful. And Krishna exhibits the rasa dance. Krishna plays the flute. These are all very, very special characteristics of Krishna. And another point that Srila Prabhupada makes here is, this is actually Garga Muni stating to Nanda Maharaj, that you should protect this child very carefully and raise him very affectionately. So the verse says that you should raise this child very carefully and cautiously. So this is again, why is Garga Muni stating this to Nanda Maharaj? Because he is evoking the Vatsalya Rasa of Nanda Maharaj, that even though this child is like Narayana, don't forget that you are his father. That he has said that this child is basically equal to Narayana. Why then do you have to raise him very carefully, as if he has to be protected? Narayana does not need protection. But just to make sure that Nanda Maharaj's parental feelings towards Krishna is not disturbed, Garga Muni makes the point to Nanda Maharaj that yes, you should still raise this boy very carefully. You should be very anxious about raising him very carefully and very cautiously. So then Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi feel that they are caring for Krishna. They are protecting Krishna. Therefore, even when Krishna is doing such amazing pastimes, such as dancing on the hoods of the serpent Kaliya, before the dance begins, Krishna is caught in the coils of Kaliya's coils and is wrapped in there. And when Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Devi come to the bank of the Yamuna and they see this horrific scene, Nanda Maharaj gets ready to jump into the lake to try to protect Krishna. Now, he wouldn't do this if he thinks that Krishna is Narayana and that Narayana does not need any protection. He does this because he has the feeling that he has to protect Krishna. And there is another point that I really wanted to touch upon in this purport. Gargamuni, Acharya has revealed that Gargamuni tells Nanda Maharaj, but you must always remember that whenever you want to do something very good, there will be many hindrances. This is a very, very important point for us to understand. I'm going to read a pastime of Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. This is just before Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur established the Gaudiya Math. He is actually on his way to establishing the Gaudiya Math. And the Gaudiya Math, devotees who go to Kolkata, visit Mayapur, please make it a point to visit this amazing holy place, which is the place where Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur started the original Gaudiya Math. It is at 1 Ulta Dingi Junction Road, even today. And the building has been wonderfully renovated and completely preserved. That place is the exact meeting place of Srila Prabhupada, our Srila Prabhupada, with his guru, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. That is when he first met him, in that location. And in that location, Srila Prabhupada first received the order to preach in the English language. And so it is because of that order that all of us are even over here today. So it is very, very significant for us. And as Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is going there, he is walking. So I'll read this here. Prior to renting the house at 1 Ulta Dingi Junction Road, early one morning, Srila Saraswati Thakur set out with Kunja Bihari Prabhu and Ananta Vasudev Prabhu to inspect it. They're inspecting before they're going to rent it. Walking along the footpath, he was just about to step under a shop awning. Does you know what an awning means? No? Awning is this shade that sticks out of a building. So you have a footpath, you have the sidewalk. So restaurants, they have this awning. Generally it's red in color. So you have this awning. So shops, restaurants, they have that so that the customers can stand in front of the shop and be protected from rain and sunshine. So Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is walking on the sidewalk and there is an awning. When it suddenly crashed down in front of him, its prop having been slightly impacted by a car. So first off, in those days cars were rare. And this is a car accident. So a car goes and impacts the pole that's holding the awning. And this is as Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is walking. The car goes and impacts just a little bit, but that little bit is enough too. And the awning comes crashing just inches before Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's feet. Had it collapsed even a second later, it would have landed on his head. Ananta Vasudev Prabhu later commented, "Who knows whether this dramatic performance of being mysteriously saved from an unthinkable event and imminent danger on the day of starting an auspicious undertaking for the founding of Sri Bhakti Vinod Asana was a harbinger of the future history of the Gaudiya Math." Harbinger meaning it's like an indication, like a prediction of the future history. The very day on which the initial preparations for establishing a center for propagating the actual truth around the universe were made, our Gurudev made us understand the Shastric proclamations, Shreyamsi Bahu Vignani. Many obstacles arise in auspicious activities. So this is actually a quote from Mahabharata. Shreyamsi Bahu Vignani Bhavanti Mahatamapi Ashreyasi Pravrittanam Duram Yanti Vinayakaha. For the noble who perform laudable deeds, there are many hurdles. There are many hurdles for noble people who perform good deeds. For those involved in disgraceful deeds, disgraceful, unholy, horrible things, even obstacles stay away. It's kind of poetic, meaning that even obstacles don't like disgraceful deeds. So that's a very important thing to consider. Seems that that's from Mahabharata. And then Ananta Vasudeva Prabhu continues. There is another verse. Shri Bhakti Marga Iha Kantaka Koti Ruddaha. In this world, the path of devotion is beset with millions of thorns. To propagate the truth, one must be ready to take the burden of numerous varied perils, if not to place one's very life at stake. As the morning speaks for the day, so did our Guru Maharaj predict the future of the Gaudiya Math preaching by staging this pastime to indicate that we should be ready. So, here Garga Muni is readying Nanda Maharaj. Okay, he is equal to Narayana, but be ready. There is going to be a lot of obstacles that are going to come your way. A lot of obstacles. This is the nature of Vrindavan. Life in Vrindavan is dynamic. Life in Vrindavan is not boring. Life in Vrindavan is different to life in Vaikuntha, where everything is perfect. In Vaikuntha, Narayana, Supreme Personality of Godhead, is with Lakshmi. He is really in control of everything, and everything runs perfectly because Narayana is perfect. But in Vrindavan, Krishna doesn't want that kind of a boring life. He doesn't want that kind of a perfect life. He wants excitement. He wants anxiety. He wants some fun. And so in Vrindavan there are a lot of obstacles, there is a lot of action, and therefore those of us who have come in the line of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by the merciful instructions and shelter of Srila Prabhupada have to understand that desiring a fully peaceful life and advancement in Krishna consciousness go ill together. Desiring a comfortable life and advancement in Krishna consciousness don't go well. In Krishna consciousness, we have to accept anxiety for Krishna. That doesn't mean that we have to simply suffer. No. There is transcendental joy. Nanda Maharaj and the associates of Vrindavan are not suffering. But they are always absorbed in thinking of Krishna. Because when one is in anxiety about Krishna, one's thoughts of Krishna are very strong. And one's affection is very strong. And Krishna wants that affection. It's just like a child will make a mess just to attract the attention of its parents. Because the child wants that affection. And in order to get that attention, the child becomes angry when the mother turns her attention away from the child for anything else, even if it is for the child. So this is Krishna, and this is the person we are dealing with. And so if one wants a very peaceful life, one can become a devotee of Narayana, no problem. You can go back home, back to Godhead, and everything will be perfect, and you can simply glorify Narayana. And all the associates of Narayana are very perfect. They are very everything is very orderly, very peaceful. In Vrindavan, everything is disorganized. And just one day after another, it's different. But we should understand that Lord Chaitanya's movement is a manifestation of that Vrindavan mood, and therefore is also of the same quality, because Mayapur is not different than Vrindavan, but that Mayapur is Audarya Dham, it is merciful and has given that mercy to us. And we gain access to Vrindavan by becoming instruments of our spiritual masters, like Srila Prabhupada, who are associates of Lord Chaitanya, who carry that mercy of Lord Chaitanya. And we must therefore help spread this movement of Lord Chaitanya if we actually want to attain love of God that is found in Vrindavan. This is our sampradaya, this is our mood. There is a verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Yadyapi Amar Guru Chaitanya Das, Tatapi Janiye Hami Tanhara Prakash. That even though I understand my spiritual master to be Chaitanya Das, he is a servant of Lord Chaitanya. Tatapi, I know, I am aware, Janiyami Tanhara Prakash, he is actually an expansion of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya. He is expansion, Prakash. He is non-different, Sakshad Haritvena Samasta Shastra. So this is our mood. So I will stop here. If there are any questions or comments, please feel free to ask. Yes, sir. Was it slow enough? That's the first question.
I'm not French, maybe.
But yeah.
I have a question. It's a bit. Wasn't Prabhupada, didn't he propagate that we will always try to be on, go to places in a timely manner, be organised and things
Yes.
like that? So it's reflecting on what you just said about that it's really disorganised and we can expect.
When I mean things are organized in Vrindavan, but as much as we try to be fully organized, we realize that the preaching mission always means changing. Something is always new. Some new challenge always comes. And that's exactly how Vrindavan is. There's always something new. Something new. Everything looks very organized, but then in Gokul they're getting all these tornadoes and this witch who comes and tries to poison Krishna, and this witch turns into some big thing, and then Krishna is under a cart and this cart collapses, and they're like, this is crazy. So we need to move. So now they change. They go to Vrindavan and things get even more complicated. So organization is there. We are very organized with our deity worship, for instance. Yet, the nature of Lord Chaitanya's movement is that we have to expand the preaching. We can't just be satisfied, okay, I have organized deity worship, I'm just going to do this deity worship and that's it. We're not going to do anything else. No, our acharyas, Srila Prabhupada is pushing to do more, and that creates newer dimensions of challenges that we have to deal with. We have to overcome our own hang-ups in order to fulfill that order. And that ever-expanding kind of bliss causes some chaos. And that's the nature of Vrindavan. It's a little difficult to understand. There's a lot of organization, but some things get thrown off also. And it's by design, that's the point. Anything else? Okay, so we'll end here. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Chakra Prasadubhyamcha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo. Hare Krishna. flowers. Petals. I'm going to make a mess when I get up. What should I do? Get up?
Just get up. They're going to clean the temple afterwards anyway.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's going to be impossible to get all these flower petals off.
There's flower petals everywhere, not just there.
That's true. Thanks.
And the reason I asked that question is because,
That's an interesting, good point, good question. Yeah.
you know, I mean, it could be confusing for people as well. Oh, that's okay, then we'll leave it nice and messy. And
Yeah. Good question, good question.
Would you like to be organized?
He knows me. They all know me.
That's a very nice question.
Honestly, I know one of Prabhupada's disciples. If I got somewhere 2 minutes late, he would be on the phone. Honestly. Exactly on time, not late. And he was always saying, Prabhupada was exactly on time. You have to be on time. It's really important for that. He thought it was really important because that shows to other people that we're you know,
Yeah, of course.
proper, polite, and
Yes.
It's very important,
Yeah,
definitely.
of course. And it shows that they are not feeling superior, so they will show up late.
Yeah, I was just trying to convey that devotees should not think that everything's going to be perfect.
I mean, if they have a meeting here, half the people will not be on time. Really.
It's supposed to be stopped.